Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo's Wrestling Room, Thursday, November 16th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How's it going? Also joined, like always, by Marcus Fine. How you doing tonight, Marcus?
Doing good.
We got special guest, pro wrestler, loud and proud, Logan Myers. It's also his birthday, so happy birthday, Logan.
Thank you. Feels good to be 23.
I don't say you're old as hell, 23.
I know, I'm an old man. Woke up in a little more pain than I did yesterday.
Well, we all do that, but
Well, Logan, we'll get started. I'm gonna go a couple. I mean, we've had you on the air before, but just some of the new listeners that haven't checked our show out or haven't seen you before. How long have you been wrestling?
2 years now, a little over 2 years.
Okay. And who trained you?
Jake Oman.
Okay. And this is a question I've been wondering about. Something I haven't asked a lot of the wrestlers. How do you prepare for a show? For example, what's your day like? A day of the show, and what's it like? You know, an hour or 30 minutes before a match. For you in particular.
Oh well, most show days I have a pre-show ritual of going and getting coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. That's something I like to do to treat myself. Then, I typically arrive at the show, do what everybody else does, say hi to everybody and whatnot and all that good stuff. And then my pre-match, what I do an hour or so before my matches now has changed quite a bit over the past few months. I mean, used to I would just kind of do the same old thing, but now I take a pump supplement and my creatine. I drink that down and I do a bunch of resistance band stuff and exercises, and I stretch and I'll warm up and I'll walk around pacing a lot. I'm a pacer, like back and forth, and really after that, just kind of do that up until I'm ready to go through the curtain.
Okay. Marcus, you have anything?
yeah, I've seen the pacing, so I know he does that. He was in Lebanon that time backstage. Like, is he going to sit down or what? But
I'm pretty animated and like very back and forth. I've paced pretty much my whole life. I remember when I was a kid, and I'd like go hand my report card to my dad, and then I'd just be pacing back and forth in the room, like, what's he gonna say? Did I get a C or whatever?
I guess, I mean, you've been on here before, so I thought we'd go over some of your latest challenges. I mean, you've wrestled some of the biggest names in the state, had some of the best matches we've seen in a long time. So I guess we'll start with Jordan James at the veteran show a few weeks ago. Tell us about that match, because that was a very good match. All
Yes.
three of us said it was. Jordan James complimented you. Pretty much was like handing you the torch. So
Yeah, that was a very emotional match. Wasn't originally supposed to be at that show. Earlier in the day, obviously I was getting some work in, and they asked me to wrestle Jordan James, so that's always a fun time. But it was very different because usually when you see me in the Outlaw Arena, I'm very mega angry, and you know crowd's not usually not too fond of me, but it was my goal that night to shift their opinion, you know what I mean? So I went out there, I just kind of felt it, and it was just throughout the entirety of that match, just feeling very good about what I was doing in that ring. It was a very looking for the words. I want to say I was just like, I belong in this ring, that felt really good. And everything that happened after the match, with Jordan complimenting me like he did, and I kind of got on the mic and poured my heart out. And I don't typically do that a lot, but for some reason something was telling me to do that, and that's why I did it. So I was very proud of that moment and everything that transpired that night.
yeah, we were impressed.
Yes.
Well, I guess we'll talk about DCCW. What are your thoughts about Jason McGraw? I guess we'll start there, since that's where the storyline kind of started.
Oh God. Well, I don't want to exude a lot of energy talking about Jason and how mad I am at him because he screwed me. I remember getting a text and somebody was like, "Hey, you're wrestling in a chain match," and I was like, "What?" And then I tuned into your guys' podcast and I saw that Jason decided to take it upon himself to put me in a chain match. So, good for Joey. Joey deserves it. Obviously, he's a legend. He's paid his dues and whatnot, and he's done a lot for a lot of us kiddos. But so I'm not mad at Joey. I'm very angry with Jason though, and DCCW management for not stepping up and saying, "Hey, no, we're gonna have the match that Logan wants to have." But it is what it is. But that was fun that night, getting a rouse out of that crowd, especially when I roasted that girl because I rock clothes way better than she does. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good night. We watched you win the title at the Bay County Fair, then turn around and lost it to a veteran who's no stranger to chain matches. So evidently Jason McGraw must have done his homework on who your opponent would be and what kind of match he would get you with.
Yeah.
Then you wrestled Dalton Love a few Fridays ago for the MDA benefit for the DCCW title. Of course, you came up short, but it was a very well fought match. What was your thoughts on that one?
That match was a lot of fun. I don't know if you guys remember, every section of fans was booing me except the Hooters section.
Yeah. Yeah, you like that. I can understand.
Which is funny because I was like, before the match, when we were about to go out, I was thinking, how can I get a rise out of the Hooters girls? I was like, I'm gonna talk about how much I love Twin Peaks, right? And then when I went over to them, I was like, okay, I'm gonna milk it. I'm gonna get them into me. I'm gonna get them to fall for me. And then I was enjoying how much they like me and were booing Dalton so much. I was like, you know what? Let's let them.
Yeah.
They've got good taste in wrestlers, So, but that was one of the funniest moments I've ever had in the ring. Is throw your arms up at one section, boo. Throw your arms up in another section, boo. Throw your arms up in front of them. They cheer me, and then Dalton throws his arms up and they boo him, and I was like, Heck yeah, that was fun.
I just figured it was because they thought you had better hair. I thought you guys were talking hair products.
Funny enough, one of the girls said she wished she had my curly hair. So
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that. So,
yeah.
all right, Tony.
Okay. Favorite match you've had and a favorite opponent.
Ooh, honestly, like the more I've wrestled and stuff, I don't really have one. If I could, I could probably give you a few. My match with Dutch Boy Platinum a couple months ago at Signal 10 Wrestling was a lot of fun. Had a match against Connor Hopkins at Destination 6 in Illinois. That was a lot of fun. That match at Comic Con with Blake Wright, the match at DCCW in, was it Gaston with Jake Omen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the Lions Den show. I think it was that was a lot of fun. Any match I've had with Jordan James. Yeah, those are some that come to mind.
I guess I forgot that one.
But I can't really pick a favorite anymore. I'm really sat back and thought like, I've enjoyed all these matches for different reasons.
Marcus mentioned it earlier, man. You really, in the last few months, you've had some of the best matches that we've seen. You really have. Like you said, you mentioned Oman. You mentioned when you won the belt at Jay County. I think that was a 4-way, wasn't it? I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a 4-way. And you had some really good matches. You should be proud of them. I think you've done a great job.
And one match we haven't even talked about, which was a real good one, was when you got the opportunity to wrestle Michael Elgin. How was that experience?
Oh man, that that was an experience. That's for sure. Mike, obviously world class, former Ring of Honor world champion, IWGP Intercontinental Champion, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact, you name it. He's done it. And he's been in the ring, with so many amazing talent. And I used to watch Mike when I was in high school. I watched him wrestle Kenny Omega in a ladder match. And I just remember like when it was announced or like when I heard about it, I was like, oh my God. It was kind of a like, wow, a lot to take in. And then standing across the ring from him was an experience of itself. And then just some of the things, that top rope hurricanrana, that was the first time I ever did that. It's kind of like, okay. So I'm very proud of that match, and I'm very proud to say I've shared the ring with a former Ring of Honor world champion. I hope to share the ring with more names like Mike Elgin in the future. Definitely motivated me to be better too, because I remember watching the CM Punk documentary when Eddie Guerrero, that period when he wasn't in WWE, and Ian Rotten booked him, and he wrestled CM Punk. And I think it was him. I think it was CM Punk, Rey Mysterio, and Eddie Guerrero in a triple threat. But Punk said in the interview, like, I got in the ring with Eddie Guerrero, and he realized, holy crap, I'm bad. And I didn't have quite that moment, but it was like, I need to up my game. I need to step it up even more. So I just like this year, I had this big. I'm not like a big chip on the shoulder guy, but I've had this like resurgence, especially over the past few months, of just like, I need what I am doing to be good. I need what I am doing to have quality and something about it that people can remember. And that's just given me an extra motivation and an extra edge.
I understand that. That makes a lot of sense. A match that you've had that you didn't really care for, and why?
Oh, I've cared for all of my matches. Because even the bad ones, um, you learn from them. You know what I mean? Um, so I really can't like say, any matches that I've not cared for. I mean, there was this one match that comes to mind, a long time ago. Dalton Love was in it, but he got like thrown into it in the middle of the match. It was so weird. Um, it was for MPG, that company that got a bunch. I don't know if you guys remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That,
I don't know if you guys were at that show, but I was I forget the dude's name. Because like basically Jake Chris just like grabbed me and grabbed him and like, you guys are having a match. And I go, okay. So we go out there and like then after me and this dude have been wrestling for like 2 minutes, Dalton Love comes out of nowhere. And then that dude leaves, and then me and Dalton Love finish the match. It's like such the weirdest experience. I'm not even joking. Like, it's so hard to explain. And then like I pinned Dalton Love, and the refs handed me a belt. And that was my first belt. That was like my first championship win. And I'm like, oh, okay, I rose my hands. I remember Bruce was in the crowd, like, because they didn't have my theme music. I go out, and I'm sorry, it's all coming back to me now. I go out, no theme music, and Bruce is like, "Where's the Led Zeppelin?" I'm like, "I don't know," and I'm just like, "Yeah," and everybody's like, "Woo!" And then me and that dude wrestle for like 2 minutes. Then Dalton Love comes out, drop kicks the dude. The dude leaves, and then the rest is history. That's probably the one match where I'm like, forget that.
And that was your first belt.
Yeah, that was my first championship win. I was like, wow.
And he didn't even know he was up for it. So
yeah.
A lot of people get these amazing moments, and I got that. But oh well,
I've got a question here. See if you're willing to answer. Hopefully I can word it the right way. You was at the Lafayette show for the muscular dystrophy fundraiser. Some stuff happened. I don't want to go into that. But as a performer, I was wondering how it was backstage and how that affected you for your match or really kind of went on backstage. Not talking about bad stuff or anything like that. Because I was and I think Marcus was too, and Chris, I know I was. We was really impressed with the performance of everybody on that show that night. It almost seemed like you guys all rallied together. And I'm not saying you guys had a powwow and all rallied together, but it seemed like you guys really, and not that you guys normally don't do a great show, because you guys do. I've been, a bunch of shows. So is Marcus and so is Chris. But you guys just everything that night seemed like it worked. And I was just wondering how it was backstage and how that was for you personally. And again, not trying to get into any bad stuff or anything like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it was honestly from my point of view, it was a normal show. What had transpired, or I didn't see any of it. I wasn't there yet. They're all gone by the time I got there. So and it was a normal show to me. I don't get involved in any. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to start conflict. I don't get involved in anything like that. It doesn't affect me, and none of it's my business. You know what I mean? Even though I was on the show, I'd rather stay out of stuff like that. So for me, it was just a normal show, and I hate what had happened, but everybody seemed to be in most people seemed to be in a good mood to me. Everybody was fine towards me. So, like I hadn't seen Brett Havoc in a long time, so it was good to catch up with him. I hadn't seen Dale Patricks in a while either, so it was just like it was good vibes all around for me. I don't have an issue with anybody besides Jason. That guy can the guy can kick rocks.
Yeah, and also that match that you had with Dalton Love that night.
You guys put on one hell of a show.
Especially because you had trouble with the ropes, and so the match probably had to be a little different than what you guys planned because the ropes were messed up. But you guys did an outstanding job. I mean, I was just really impressed that you guys, because I mean, I'm sure you guys had some stuff planned maybe you couldn't do or couldn't do as well as you wanted to do because of the ropes wasn't cooperating. So, but yeah, I was just interested on how that was for you, and again, I'm not trying to stir up anything, but
Oh no, absolutely. You know,
because I could see where controversy could cause problems and hurt a show, but it was the opposite because that
yeah,
show was outstanding. It's one of the probably top 5 I've seen this year, and just every match was spot on. Every match was so spot on. I still ain't picked what my favorite match of the night was because I'll pick one, then I said, wait a minute, this one, and then this one, because every match was from the first match to the last match was just really spot on.
yeah, absolutely. And that's always good to hear, you know. And that's what I noticed too. You know, I noticed we pulled together and we put on a good show. And I was very proud of my match. That night, I really enjoyed it. I'm sure me and Dalton will lock up again, you know, and we'll top that one. That's the goal, you know what I mean?
Best thing about the business for you, and also the hardest thing for you about the business?
Yeah. The best thing for me about the business, my favorite thing is when I step in that ring, I'm going to use some very unique terms here. I feel like I step in that ring and it turns into like a canvas and I'm a painter, you know what I mean? But I'm like one of those, you see like the movies where the dude has like the big blank canvas and he's just throwing things and the paint's splattering. I feel like I'm like that, you know. I'm just like, I'm in control. I'm shaped. Obviously I have a dance partner or whatever, but like I feel like an artist when I'm in that ring, and that's the best thing. That's the coolest thing in the world to me. And same like when I get in front of a camera and I talk, or I get on a microphone and I talk. It's like I'm dabbling like a paintbrush, and what I'm doing, because what I think I'm doing is art, and I take pride in it. Wrestling is my art and my opportunity to be an artist, like the people I looked up to before me. And then I would say the hardest thing, I don't mean this in a negative way. I mean, I'm going to try my best, is the people. And I don't mean that I have a problem with anybody. It just kills me to see that there are people at each other's throats, and no matter who's right or wrong, you know what I mean? It hurts me to see that there's so much conflict and there's so much I don't want to use the word drama, but like there's so much, there's always, it seems like sometimes there's always something going on and people aren't happy with each other, and it just makes it awkward for me as the guy who's just trying to like vibe and do his thing and have no issues with anybody.
Yep.
You know, and it kills me to see that sometimes, and it makes it hard for me to like be around it sometimes. But at the end of the day, I got to put my shoes on and do it, lace up my boots and put those tights on and go to that ring.
I got a couple more questions, and then I'm gonna let Marcus fire some questions at you. Favorite food?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Your favorite food?
Favorite food?
Maybe I'm cutting out.
Yeah, favorite food.
Yes.
I think
Favorite food? Okay.
There we go. There we go.
So basically, my favorite restaurant is Panda Express, and I get orange chicken, grilled teriyaki chicken, and chow mein. That's my favorite food. Or like, if you want to go home cooked meals, chicken and noodles.
Yep.
Okay,
Hard to beat.
But yeah, I really like Chinese food or any sort of like Asian food. I just love.
And what music are you listening to recently?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What music are you listening to recently? What are you into right now? I know you listen to a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah. So obviously, obviously, I love my classic rock. That's my forte. Recently, I've been on a big hip hop kick. Been listening to a lot of Drake. Yeah, a lot of Drake, a lot of G.W.R. And then sometimes I get in these moods where I listen to like sad breakup country songs. Not because I'm in a bad mood, or just sometimes they're fun to sing along to. As weird as that sounds, but and then I was on a podcast the other day, and one of the questions was, "What do you listen to at the gym?" I was like, "Dude, I'm all over the place. Sometimes it's heavy metal, times, um, sometimes it's Prince, sometimes it's Justin Bieber, and then sometimes I'll be listening to Poker Face by Logan. Like I'm all over the spectrum, but hip hop has probably been what's been most on my playlist lately."
Okay, Marcus.
Did he freeze up? Nope, he's working on it. We'll go back to Lawfield. Nope, he did. We lost him.
Yeah, he'll be back here in a second. I thought that was a real good answer about the what he really liked about the business.
Yep.
and what he didn't like, kind of what was hardest about the business. I thought both those were real good answers.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, I like the question you asked about the backstage. I mean, without coming out and just saying, what was it like? What was the demeanor? That was a good question. We wish we had played that the other day.
Well, I should have. I talked to Chris and asked him if he thought it'd be okay to ask, and he said yes, because I didn't want to bring up anything bad.
Well, I get you.
Well, we got him back.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
No problem.
Okay, we're gonna go back to Lafayette. Mike King the other night said that was probably was it Mike or Joey? But anyway, they said that was probably one of the best old school wrestling matches they had seen. I take it you guys had to change gears when the rope thing popped, because like you couldn't jump that top rope anymore, or you could attempt it, but Mike King said he thought it was a good old school, and I think Tony and Chris and I said that even during the broadcast. I'm assuming you guys had to change gears, and I mean, is that true? I mean, because I know you guys were wasting time. We're hoping they would fix it, and then you finally just locked up and kind of kept it in the middle of the ring as best you could. So,
yeah, well, that kind of played a factor. But me and Dalton are both very huge fans of old school wrestling, obviously. So when we found out we were wrestling each other, we were like, "Oh hell yeah, we get to do some old school stuff." You know what I mean? Pay homage to the Flairs, the Steamboats, the Macho Mans, the stuff like that. Good old fashioned '80s wrestling. So.
And do you remember how you were pinned? Were you the one that took the backslide?
I took a pile driver.
Yeah, pile driver.
Well, who took the backslide? Somebody won with a backslide. We're still trying to remember what match that was.
I like that though. You don't see that a lot.
Because that's how Von Erich beat Flair for the belt. I even made that.
Yeah, 84. That was the David Von Erich memorial show, isn't it?
All right, I'm gonna go over. Okay, well, first I got a spoof question. I seen the video they sent out to you. Did you buy the big Rice Krispie treat in Iowa or not?
I didn't that time. I have before though.
So I see that got the laugh. It's like, do you still have any of it left? But anyhow, okay, so let's see how I want to go with this. I guess we'll go with we'll ask this first before we go to Warrior Pro. I've seen you at New Version Wrestling in Illinois a few times. What other states have you worked in? I know didn't you and Dutch go Wisconsin or somewhere?
Yeah, me and Dutch, along with Jake Oman and the veteran Jack Vaughn, went to Wisconsin back in February, and then in June we went to Oklahoma. I've wrestled in Colorado, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan. I was supposed to wrestle in New Jersey, but when I got there, the show got canceled.
Oh, man.
So, yeah,
Oh.
that was
That would suck.
yeah, it wasn't fun, but I mean, I think we went into the place where Jersey Shore was filmed, which I was like, because I did not like that show, but I did it anyway, and it ended up being a fun trip.
Well, the reason
I think
was
I got a really cool shirt there. So,
When you wrestle in different states, is there like a big difference in the fans from show to show?
big difference in like the styles.
Yeah.
Not really, honestly. I mean, Oh, I also have wrestled in Iowa. I forgot to mention Iowa, but it really depends. Like Oklahoma was very like bare bones. You know, they want to see somebody punch somebody in the face. You
I was
know,
waiting on it. I was waiting
and
on
then
it.
Yep.
then Colorado's was a lot like here. Illinois is pretty much Illinois is a good blend because you get a lot of people from like the Seth Rollins school, where they liked, you know, they do a lot more creative stuff and whatnot. So that's always fun. And Destination Six just brings a lot of blend of talent. And then same with Iowa, that was a lot like that. Michigan's quite faster pace for a lot of the shows too. And then Ohio's a lot like Indiana.
Favorite town you wrestled in other than Indiana?
Favorite state I've wrestled in other than Indiana?
Yes.
Okay. Probably Colorado because that state is just so cool. But I'm sure the next state that I cross off my list will top that.
So you haven't wrestled in Kentucky yet, I take it,
I have not.
because the
That's
fans
on the
of
bucket
Kentucky
list.
sounds like the fans of Oklahoma. Because when you said that about Oklahoma, I got to laughing because the fans of Kentucky are that way. So not bashing them, but they're
Yeah.
I see you go south and it drastically changes on how they act and
Yeah.
what they want. So
Oh yeah.
okay, we'll go to WPW. You started out at Fair Fight as the Warrior Pro champion, the Warrior Pride champion. Tell us about your ladder match, because you lost that belt to Winchester that day.
Yeah. So that was obviously my first ladder match. It was a kind of unique ladder. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah,
Yes, we did.
But
what's that? What thousand things with it?
yeah, that was an experience in itself. And I'm very proud of that ladder match. You know, I'd never done anything like that before, so it was definitely a challenge. And I think we did a very good job of creating magic with that ladder.
Well, I agree. And then last month you beat Jeremy Hagley
Oh
to become
God.
the #1 champion. Yeah, what's it like wrestling somebody like Jeremy Hagley, who is on fire the minute he hits the door until the day he probably walks to the front door of his house? I mean, the guy's spot on every time and screaming and yelling. And how do you not break character with some of the stuff he says? And
Oh man, it's hard. That's for sure. But when I get my game face on, I kind of get my game face on. Uh, Jeremy Hadley's fun. He's just a goober. I mean, that's the best way to describe him. He's Jeremy Hadley.
They broke the mold
That
on
was
him.
that was a match though.
Oh yeah, you guys put on a real good match that day.
Yeah. And I've seen wrestlers break character because he got to saying something and they couldn't take it. They just started bursting out laughing. It's like, okay, so this Sunday, now you're taking on Blake, and you've been in the ring with Blake several times, but now the title's on the line. What's your thoughts on that?
You know, I'm looking forward to it very much. I haven't shared the ring with Blake since that Comic-Con match. But I have something to prove, I feel like kind of casted me in Blake's shadow for the longest time, especially like in the black market days. And I feel like now, I mean, that couldn't be anything farther from the truth. I think I've proven myself. I think I've proven that I'm on Blake's level, if not a little above Blake's level. And I'm ready to prove that on Sunday. I also saw his podcast with you guys where he claimed that he taught me everything I know. And, yeah, I probably learned some things under Blake, but that couldn't be anything farther from the truth. So that definitely didn't sit well with me. Blake's good, Blake's great, whatever. He always finds a way back in the spotlight, and you can't knock him for that. But I plan on taking that spotlight from him and taking that responsibility off his plate, because I think it's a long time overdue where I become the heavyweight champion at WPW.
I agree. I think it's your time.
I agree too.
I'm looking forward to that match on Sunday.
Yes.
So that's all I had on questions, but I do on that style. But you brought up traveling with Jack Vaughn and Jake Oman. Tell us what that's like, especially being in those vignettes that Jack Vaughn's putting out. I know he's in that one where the guy dove through the ropes or so. You guys read your card. I mean, that crap is funny. And what's it like?
Yeah.
That?
Yeah, it's a good time. I mean, honestly, me and Jake, I've been traveling with Jake since my first day of training was a 2-hour road trip with Jake. So always a good time I don't get to travel with Jake as much anymore, so anytime I do, it's a grand old time. And then Jack Vaughn, just he's funny, fun dude to be around. And then obviously when you get a chance to film these vignettes, it's so fun. And then like listening to him go over his ideas and bouncing ideas off of him and stuff. Just Jack Vaughn's the man. Like I have a lot of respect, obviously, for Jake, trained me, whatnot, been all over the world, but I have a lot of respect for Jack Vaughn, and I look up to him a lot, and I wish nothing but the best for Jack Vaughn. You know what I mean? He's definitely always been good to me, and I wish well on people who are good to me.
That's all I had.
We had a question here from somebody in the comments section. Said, "Who has influenced you in the wrestling industry?" From Rob Scott.
Yeah. So obviously, I like people I've been around. Jake and Vaughn have definitely, been pretty pinnacle in my early career. And then also when I wrestled Ace Perry, I've wrestled Ace Perry twice now. Ace has been pretty pivotal in me gaining my confidence. Anytime I've been in a locker room with Russ Jones, picking his brain, But as far as like people who inspired me that I, grew up watching or whatnot. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Dolph Ziggler, Jimmy Jacobs. I mean, I could go on. There's a list of influences that I look up to a lot, and that I wouldn't be wrestling if it wasn't for them. You know what I mean?
And then the WCW veteran show after your match with Jordan James, you kind of announced that you wasn't going to be at the Dub for a while. That you were going to be appearing at different. Do you have some shows that you can talk about where your people can go see you where you're going to be at here soon? I know Sunday you have the Warrior match with Blake at Warrior Pro. But do you have any
Yeah.
other shows coming up?
Yeah, actually, Saturday I'll be in Illinois, Macomb, Illinois for Destination 6. So anybody in the Macomb, Illinois area, definitely come check that out. I'll be wrestling Connor Hopkins again. Next Saturday, I'll be making my debut for Hybrid Championship Wrestling down in Terre Haute. I'll be wrestling Dalton Davis again. That'll be fun. Then December 2nd, I'll be in South Bend, Indiana for PWK. For now, then I already got some things in 2024 already locked in, but one of them's Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin. So that'll be fun. Oh, I forgot. December 30th, Signal 10 Wrestling in Brazil, Indiana. Their second show. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that a lot.
Sounds like you got a busy schedule next few weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Dad, do you have anything else?
No, I'm good to go.
Marcus, do you have anything?
No, you brought up Dalton Davis. Now he's got a whole different style. He's what I would call stiff. Is it hard to work Dalton because he is a little more stiff than?
Not really. I mean, it's just gotta absorb more blows, I guess you would say.
Mhm.
So I like to use my speed, my quickness to kind of calm him down.
Yeah, he's pretty aggressive. So
Oh yeah.
Who's the stiffest that you've worked with?
Ooh. Probably IK3.
I can see that.
I can see that. He's pretty stiff.
Well, Logan, was there anything that we didn't hit on that you was wanting to talk about?
I don't know if there's any like more fan questions or whatever. If you guys think of any questions, think we're pretty good here.
Let's see, Rob had another question real quick. He said, have you ever had to give a receipt to another wrestler?
Yes, I have. It's not fun to do.
Can you say why you had to give the receipt?
yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, they jumped the gun. They clocked me in the jaw. So they forearmed me in the jaw. So I reared back and I chopped that person pretty hard. So they had a red handprint on their chest after the match, and that was like my first time doing that to somebody. So I was like, huh, wow. Yeah, I guess don't stiff Logan. That was my first like calm down,
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question too. That we've never brought that up.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you joining us, and looking forward to
Yeah,
seeing you on
appreciate you
Sunday.
having me.
Warrior Pro. Looking forward to that match between you and Blake.
Yeah.
But we appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram at Gonzo Sports Room as well. We'll be live Saturday night in Kokomo, Indiana for AACW, 7 p.m. Eastern, YouTube and Twitch. And then we'll be live on Sunday at Warrior Pro Wrestling, where you can see Logan Myers wrestle Blake Wright for the Warrior Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. But we appreciate everybody watching. We'll see you guys next time.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this podcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.